All right, Bulls Nation, we are addressing probably the biggest thing for all Bulls fans this upcoming offseason, which is Zach LaVine and his pending free agency. Zach LaVine is an unrestricted free agent, so he has his power to go anywhere he wants to, sign a contract with whoever he wants to, but is also very clearly asking for a max contract from any team that is willing to sign him, or the Chicago Bulls if they're willing to re-sign him, right? So this is going to be the talk of the offseason for the Chicago Bulls, as I think a lot of people want Zach back. I think there's some people that want to get rid of him. I think there's people that just want to sign and trade him and forget him forever. Let's talk about it, all right? Before we get into it all, make sure you hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about this, all right? Because this is the biggest piece this offseason that Bulls fans are going to be paying attention to. So, first up, I want to just kind of talk about some facts, kind of just look at the contract, look at some things, and then I want to talk about the end of season press conference that Zach LaVine had on Friday. But let's just talk about the salary, all right? So Zach LaVine, if he re-signs with the Chicago Bulls, the most the Bulls can offer on the biggest contract is this right here. And now this is based on salary cap projection, so if the salary cap goes up or down, then this will also go up or down, all right? But based on salary cap projections, the Bulls can offer a 5-year, $212 plus million contract to Zach LaVine, and here will be the breakdown each year for Zach. So this is what the Bulls can offer the most right now. All right. If Zach LaVine goes to another team that is not the Chicago Bulls, the most that they can offer is a 4-year, $157 million deal. And obviously, when you kind of just, crunch the numbers, you're looking at about a $50+ million difference between Zach signing this contract with the Bulls and Zach signing to a different team on the max deal. So this is what we're dealing with here. Now, there's also some people that are saying that they don't want to max Zach LaVine, and that honestly just does not make any sense to me, because people are saying, like, well, we need to preserve cap space. Zach LaVine doesn't deserve a max, so if we sign him to anything, to less than the max, then guess what? We have more cap space. No, that's not the case here. Zach LaVine, if we re-sign Zach LaVine, we're gonna be over the cap. All right. I don't want to hear that we can preserve cap space if we sign Zach LaVine to less than the max. That does not make any sense. Now, if the Bulls were way under the cap and they're thinking about re-signing Zach LaVine, and they could potentially, sign a big-time player with cap space because Zach LaVine takes less, yeah, I would agree with you. But that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Zach LaVine re-signing on the max deal, re-signing, being over the cap, whether he is on the max deal or not. All right? As you can see right here, the Bulls, just looking at the salary cap projections, like, we're at $100 million, all right? So the salary cap, I believe, is going to be like 116 or 118. Zach LaVine's not making $18 million next season. There is no way. He has outplayed his current contract, which is $19.5 million a season, okay? Zach LaVine, if he resigns, is going to put the Chicago Bulls over the cap. So that argument is just, stop it. That does not make any sense whatsoever. And for the people that are saying that we do not want to see the Bulls in the luxury tax, well, let me tell you something. The Chicago Bulls will not be in the luxury tax if the Bulls just re-sign LaVine. All right? If they re-sign LaVine to the max contract, the Chicago Bulls will not be in the luxury tax. Now, obviously, if the Bulls make more moves and add more money and then re-sign LaVine, they could definitely be in the luxury tax, okay? But for all the people that are just saying they want to run it back, but they don't want to be in the luxury tax, and if we sign LaVine to the max, it will be in the luxury tax, that's wrong, okay? We will not be in the luxury tax if we just straight up do nothing else but re-sign Zach LaVine to the max contract, okay? So I want to just keep this in mind, all right? Now, other fact. I'm sorry, I've called you out on one video, but I'm calling you out on this video again. I don't know why I keep seeing this. I'm seeing this on Bleacher Report. I'm seeing this reported on television. I'm seeing this reported on Twitter all the time. People keep saying that Zach LaVine is eligible for a supermax contract extension. That is not true. Zach LaVine is not eligible for a supermax. He is eligible for a max contract, which is this right here, the 5 years, $212 million. He is not eligible for a supermax contract. Zach LaVine's not going to make an All-NBA team this season. If he does, I'd be absolutely shocked, but he is not going to, okay? So Zach LaVine is not eligible for a Supermax contract. So if you want to talk about this type of stuff, stop saying that he's looking for Supermax. It's not a Supermax. And it's not just like, regular old fans. I'm seeing like actual media people report this too, that like people that have the blue check mark and verified, they're saying that Zach LaVine is eligible for Supermax. That is not the case at all. So keep this in mind. I want you to remember this and get this right before you start saying your opinion on this, all right? You have every right to your opinion, but don't tell me something false, okay? So I want everyone to understand that Zach LaVine is not eligible for a Supermax contract from the Chicago Bulls. So I said this before. Zach, this is how much the Bulls can offer right now. This is the most that they can offer right now. And I really do believe that AK, as he said in his press conference at the end of the season, that he values Zach, and I think he's going to be willing to give Zach LaVine a max contract right when free agency opens, okay? I really do believe that. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I do think AK values him a lot and will be giving that to him immediately when free agency opens. But there is something that I do think we need to keep in mind. So Zach LaVine is now with Rich Paul and Clutch. Now, keep in mind that the Bulls just worked out an $80 million contract for Lonzo Ball this past offseason, who is also with Clutch Sports. So that should actually put the Bulls on good terms with hopefully re-signing Zach LaVine. But if Zach LaVine actually wants to bet on himself and get a lot more money, then we're looking at this right here, which is Zach LaVine can look to sign a 2-year deal plus a player option and sign basically a 3-year, $118 million deal. But once Zach LaVine gets to 10 years of service time, then he's eligible for a lot more money, which would then make him eligible for 35% of the cap. And as you can see right here, after this 3-year deal, he would then want the Bulls in 2024 to sign him to a new max contract, which is then projected to look like this. Now, I don't think that Zach LaVine's going to be going this route. One, due to the fact that he is probably getting off-season surgery. And two, I think he understands that the Bulls are probably not going to be willing to do this. All right. Now, I do think that the Bulls would be very willing to sign him to this, 3-year deal, right? But I don't think Zach's going to be saying like, hey, I want this much money when I'm age 30 and looking to sign a 5-year deal. I don't see that happening. So I honestly do think Zach's looking for this right off the bat. This would basically make him 32 years old when he can hit free agency again. So I think this is what we're looking at between this and this. But do keep in mind, if you do see that Zach LaVine signs a 3-year deal with the Chicago Bulls, this is the reason why. He's looking for a lot more money, and maybe Rich Paul convinces him to do that. All right. So interesting thing just to kind of keep in mind here, as Zach LaVine is looking to obviously get paid, and this is one of his options. Again, though, this is, I just don't see this happening. Okay. So now I want to bring up something that a lot of people are kind of thinking about, which is, as the Utah Jazz have now been officially eliminated from the playoffs, this is something that's been kind of coming up. So first off, at BullsNation OZ, Mike, I've had conversations with you on Twitter. I'm sorry I'm using you in this video, but honestly, you probably like the publicity. But this is a dude that is an avid that he doesn't like Zach LaVine. He thinks Zach LaVine is very one-dimensional. And you know what? You can make that argument. I give every right to your opinion. He thinks Zach is not a winning player, which honestly, it bothers me when he kind of starts making comparisons. But we're going to get into comparison here from this guy. Just keep in mind, though, that this dude is also the dude that has tweeted at me saying that he wanted to build the Bulls around Lauri Markkanen. So just keep this in mind, okay? But he has said multiple times that he thinks that Donovan Mitchell is a much better player than Zach LaVine, okay? And he thinks that Donovan Mitchell moves the needle. He has said before in other tweets that Donovan Mitchell is a winning player, as he has been to the playoffs every single year since he's been in the NBA, and is obviously, much better than Zach LaVine because Zach LaVine's only been to the playoffs for the first time this season, right? And it bothers me when I see this type of stuff because, he also says that Mitchell's ability to get into the paint and also hit the outside shot. But this dude also complains so much about Zach LaVine taking poor shots or dribbling too much, and also saying that he doesn't play any defense. And I'm just thinking to myself, why would you want Donovan Mitchell more than Zach LaVine? I also thought he said that the reason was because Donovan Mitchell's younger. Well, let me tell you, Donovan Mitchell's 25, Zach LaVine's 27. There's not much of a difference here. It's not like Mitchell's getting better, right? So I think we see what Mitchell already is. And here's the thing. I want to keep this clear. I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell fan. I love Donovan Mitchell. But I will also admit that he is part of the problem in Utah right now. So I won't be shocked to see him go. But let me just kind of quickly go over some things when it comes to the stats, right? So here is Zach LaVine. Here's his stat line for this season as a second option. As we all know, Donovan Mitchell's the first option in Utah. Also, Zach LaVine is 6'5", 6'6". Donovan Mitchell's 6'1". Keep in mind, smaller guards do not last long. We saw with Derrick Rose, right? Smaller guards don't last long. Look at AI. Smaller guards don't last long. Dwayne Wade. Smaller guards don't last long, right? You see guys like DeMar DeRozan, because of their height, that they're able to last longer, right? And I don't understand the whole idea that because Mitchell's younger, that, oh, we'll get more years out of him. I honestly think Mitchell, because he's so small and takes a lot of beating, his body's going to break down quicker than Zach's, all right? So I want to keep that in mind. Also, when we're doing this comparison here, Zach played 67 games. People are worried about his injury status. Well, guess what? Donovan Mitchell also only played 67 games this season. So I don't really know what the whole thing is. Also, last season, Donovan Mitchell played less games than Zach, as you can see right here. And Zach dealt with COVID this season. So keep that in mind. All right, so if you're looking at durability, that there is no argument here. Again, huge Donovan Mitchell fan. I'm just saying that this whole argument, though, that Mitchell's better than LaVine, I just don't understand it. Sorry, Mike, but I'm going to call you out on this one. He also mentioned how in this, like, Mitchell's able to get into the paint better and also hit the outside shot. Well, I mean, this is Zach LaVine right here, and, you know, less than 5 feet, 66% right here. Donovan Mitchell, 61%. I mean, you know, kind of relatively similar here, but I take Zach LaVine. He's obviously better. And obviously he also shot more attempts less than 5 feet than Donovan Mitchell, so I don't understand that. Less than 8 feet as well. Let's see here. Less than 8 feet, 63%, 57%. So, like, again, you know, Zach LaVine kind of wins that battle. Let's look at restricted areas. 68% for Zach LaVine, 65% for Donovan Mitchell. So, again, relatively similar, you know. Donovan Mitchell definitely wins this because he has a floor game in the paint but non-restricted area, as Zach LaVine doesn't take many shots from there, right? But also, the other thing that it just straight up bothers me here, it's like, Zach LaVine's a much better three-point shooter right now, at least for now. I mean, I love Donovan Mitchell, but as you see, Zach LaVine on a hurt season averaged 39% from three-point range. Donovan Mitchell was 35%. He also shot, I think, around 200 more threes than Zach. So I don't understand that argument. And Donovan Mitchell takes a lot of threes, okay? So if you want to see that, if you already think Zach LaVine takes too many threes, you're getting more threes from Donovan Mitchell. That doesn't make much sense to me at all. Now, other thing too about this guy is that he complains that Zach LaVine's a ball hog, doesn't pass to his teammates at all. First off, they average around the same amount of assists, which again, I don't think that even matters when it comes to, like, you know, ball hogging or not. But the other thing is this, like, look at the assisted to unassisted, right? Unassisted for Zach LaVine, 238 shots were unassisted. Assisted. 327 shots were unassisted, which means that he's basically creating his own shot and making it, right? But look at this. Just look at this difference, right? Unassisted. 437 shots by Donovan Mitchell were unassisted. Like, that's insane. That's a lot. So, again, if you want to talk about ball hog, I'm looking at Zach LaVine as a better player when it comes to, you know, being off the ball more and actually willing to pass to his teammates, or willing to be the catch and shoot guy, which is what we need on this team, right? So, again, keep this in mind. Last but not least is this thing. This is the part that I'm really, like, digging in on Mike here, is that, hey, Mike, you hate that Zach LaVine dribbles too much. You think that he's dribbling way too long and is only looking for his shot. So 7+ dribbles on field goal attempts, 25% frequency. Donovan Mitchell, 7+ dribble attempts, 31%. That's more than Zach LaVine, right? Am I right? Zach LaVine, when it comes to touches and field goal attempts that have been longer than 6 seconds, is 31%. But look at this, 2 to 6 seconds. This is how long you want your star to touch the ball. 42%. That's perfect, right? Donovan Mitchell, 38%. That means that Donovan Mitchell has had more field goal attempts when he has held on to the ball longer than 6 seconds, or, you know, 6 seconds or longer, right? So basically what I'm just trying to tell you is that when it comes to ball hogs, Donovan Mitchell is more of a ball hog than Zach LaVine. And you think that Donovan Mitchell moves the needle when it comes to this Bulls team? Donovan Mitchell did this as the first option. Zach LaVine was the second option this season. Not to mention Zach LaVine, his numbers look off, like, are a little bit worse because of his injury to not only his thumb but also his knee. Zach LaVine was averaging around 26 points per game before he had to leave that Golden State game. So we need to just keep this in mind when we're starting to, do these comparisons. I do think that Donovan Mitchell is probably slightly better than Zach LaVine, but when it comes to all these stuff that Mike is pissed about when it comes to Zach, I think Zach's better when it comes to not being a ball hog, being a better catch and shoot guy, being a better 3-point shooter, getting into the lane better. The only thing I think Donovan Mitchell kind of gets up on Zach is his ability to handle the ball better. So I'm gonna give Mitchell just the kind of benefit of the doubt because I've seen him kind of run some point guard. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at Zach as pretty good. All right, just keep this in mind when it comes to the comparison stuff because it bothers me when I see this. And reminder, Donovan Mitchell's on a max contract. You see this, pay this man. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out because I've seen so much of that type of stuff on the internet. Now that I'm done with Mike, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what Zach has kind of said about his free agency status. I'm going to do this really quickly here to kind of wrap things up. And which is, Zach has said, keeping an open mind, his eyes are wide open. And a lot of people are kind of freaking out about this. I mean, as you can see here, by the way, read this by Rob Schaefer. Great article. Just kind of look through here as he kind of bullet points. Great article by him. But as you can see right here, like some of these quotes, like people are like looking at these quotes, and I always say like, go watch the press conference. Zach is dealing with COVID, so it had to be through Zoom, so it's kind of iffy. But just go watch the press conference. You'll feel better about it. I've seen all these quotes, being pulled up. They're like, oh, I don't feel good about this. Like, even King of the Fourth Quarter, shout out to him. He's like, I don't like what Zach said. Like, I don't know what people were expecting when Zach was going to, talk. First off, the fact that he even did talk is crazy. Like, he didn't have to talk. He has COVID currently, but also he's a pending free agent. And not to mention that even if he did decide to talk, he doesn't have to answer all these questions. He does not have to answer this at all. He could just be like, we'll get to that later. I'm not thinking about that right now. Like, he could have just said nothing. So for all these people that are freaking out, you have to understand, the fact that you're freaking out, Clutch has done their job. Clutch Sports wants you to freak out. Clutch Sports wants you to be like, oh, I don't know if Zach's coming back. Oh, I think Zach's leaving. Why? Because Zach LaVine wants a max contract. And the only way he's going to get the most amount of money from the Chicago Bulls is if he has leverage. And his leverage is basically him saying that I could go somewhere else if you don't pay me. So that's the reason why, as you can see with some of his answers here, he's kind of just being vague. He's saying it's a business decision, or I'm staying open-eyed, right? And even this right here, like if you listen to this quote when you watch the press conference, it actually sounds like Zach saying how much he loves Chicago, and people keep saying it's like, oh, this is a goodbye. He's just saying goodbye. Go watch it. It sounds like he's actually saying how much he loves Chicago, how much he values it. Again, Zach didn't have to answer these questions today, but he was willing to get on a press conference when he has COVID and willing to talk to all these reporters that are asking him questions about his contract status, and he's saying all this type of stuff. So, in my opinion, this was basically Zach saying, like, or Zach was basically like taught through Clutch, say these things. Because if you just basically say, hey, I'm coming back to the Chicago Bulls, then no other team's going to be like, I'm looking to go out and getting Zach LaVine. Therefore, then the Bulls have leverage, and they're going to be like, well, we can offer you less, right? So, because Zach wants his money, which he absolutely deserves, then it's very important that he just doesn't come out and say, hey, I'm coming back to the Chicago Bulls, okay? So, for all you people that are freaking out and are saying that, oh, I think Zach's gone, or I don't like what he said right here. He said this basically all season, okay? And for all you people that are like, why didn't we re-sign him earlier? We couldn't have, because we technically could have, but it would have been to a very, very small contract. It would have been to a similar contract that he was on now, which he's very clearly outplayed. So, just keep this in mind as we're going to be going through this offseason, which, it's going to be a long offseason because everyone's going to be talking about it, that the reason why Zach LaVine didn't just come out and say, yeah, I want to re-sign with the Chicago Bulls is because he wants to get paid. He was told by Clutch to say this type of stuff. I honestly think that Zach is already looking at coming back here. I really do. I think he's seeing that this is probably one of the best winning situations he's going to have. The rest of the teams, when you look at like the other teams that have cap space this offseason, like it says it in this Rob Schaefer article, which I'm trying to, yeah, so the Pacers, the Pistons, the Spurs, the Magic, Trailblazers, like, these are the teams that have the cap space to go and give Zach a max contract, but they're not playoff teams, right? The only team that I can kind of even consider is the San Antonio Spurs, but I think they're going to have to make some moves to even get to that point, and I don't see them becoming anywhere close to what the Chicago Bulls are going to be next season. So I think if Zach's all about winning, which he very clearly showed, the dude played on a 50% knee for most of the season, he's going to stay here. And not only that, he's getting $50+ million if he stays here and he signs that max contract. And not to mention, I mean, Chicago's a big market. He just signed a new deal. He just signed a deal with Reebok. He has a bunch of already, endorsement deals with Mountain Dew and stuff like that. And that gives him money too. Keep that in mind. So when it comes to this type of stuff, I think it's, in terms of business decision and in terms of winning, this is the best place for Zach LaVine. And I honestly think that he is having a bunch of talks with the Bulls front office already. I think that he's already seen that this Bulls front office values him a lot, and they're actually bringing him in on decisions that the front office wants to make. Like, you're not going to get that really anywhere else and also get paid this much money. So in my opinion, I think Zach LaVine is staying. I'm not going to worry about this too much because I've realized very quickly that you Chicago Bulls fans have not had to deal with an unrestricted free agent in a while. Like, an unrestricted free agent in terms of this caliber, right? I'm thinking back to Pau Gasol leaving for the Spurs, or Joakim Noah leaving for the Knicks, or even when I first started watching basketball and Nate Robinson, Marco Bellinelli went to different teams. But we're not talking about an all-star, right? This is the first time that some of you Bulls fans have dealt with an unrestricted free agent. But because of that, you're freaking out with all these quotes. Let me tell you, this is how unrestricted free agency works. When a player wants his money, this is what's going to happen. And, if there is some sort of bargaining power for the team to be like, we're not going to give you the max, then they're going to do everything possible to get that max deal. And Zach, going to clutch and saying all this type of stuff is basically just trying to reassure him that he is going to get the max contract from the Chicago Bulls. So I think that Zach's staying. I think he's going to be here for years to come. AK has come out and said that he wants to re-sign Zach LaVine, so I expect the max contract to be offered immediately to Zach once free agency opens. It looks like Rich Paul is going to be doing most of the negotiating, and Zach's not going to even be a part of it. So luckily the Bulls, they had that relationship already with Clutch and Rich Paul, with Lonzo Ball coming to the Bulls. So because this is a big market and because the Bulls have that relationship with Clutch, not to mention then, this is the most money Zach can get, and I think in terms of winning, this is the best place for him. In terms of business decisions, this is the best place for him. I think he's staying. I think everything just kind of points out to staying. Like I said, this guy right here thinks that he is not staying, and he very much wants him to leave. So I think he's staying. That's just my opinion. Again, I could be absolutely wrong, but go ahead and tell me in the comment section down below if you think Zach LaVine is staying or not. That's going to do it for me with this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the basically overviewing the Zach LaVine situation, which I'm going to keep up with this throughout the offseason, as this is definitely the biggest thing for Bulls fans this offseason. But make sure you hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Look out for a Nikola Vucevic video. That is the next thing on my list, and I'm looking forward to making that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.